Winnie Weasel spread out a bright red blanket under the tall oak tree. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel placed a basket filled with shiny berries beside her. Milo Mouse sniffed the warm bread eagerly. Berry Badger smiled and said it was the perfect spot for their picnic. The sun shone brightly, warming their fur as a gentle breeze rustled the oak leaves. Milo Mouse poured fresh apple juice into small cups, the sweet scent floating in the air. "This is the best afternoon ever," said Sparky the Spunky Squirrel, his eyes sparkling with joy. Suddenly, dark clouds rolled in from the west, covering the sunny sky. Berry Badger frowned as the wind grew stronger around them. Winnie Weasel asked if they should pack up and head home before the weather worsened. The cheerful afternoon was turning uncertain and tense. Before they could decide, raindrops splashed onto the blanket, soaking the edges. Sparky, the Spunky Squirrel, grabbed the basket quickly, holding it tight. Milo Mouse tucked the bread inside for safety. Lightning flashed nearby, and the air smelled sharp and wet, warning of trouble ahead. A roaring sound rose from the river nearby, loud and fierce. Berry Badger's eyes widened as water surged over the bank. "That's a flash flood!" shouted Winnie Weasel, pointing toward the rushing stream. The calm picnic spot was suddenly a place of danger. The ground became slippery with thick mud under their paws. Milo Mouse slipped, his tiny feet sliding, but Sparky the Spunky Squirrel caught him by the tail. They scrambled toward higher ground together, yet the water rushed too fast, blocking their escape route. A large log broke free from the riverbank, spinning slowly toward them. "Grab it!" said Berry Badger, splashing into the rising water. Winnie Weasel climbed onto the log first, steadying herself. She reached down to help Sparky, Milo, and Berry haul themselves up. The log spun gently at first, carrying them away from the oak tree. Milo Mouse clung tightly, his whiskers trembling with fear. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel peered ahead, spotting branches jutting dangerously from the rushing water, ready to block their path. Winnie Weasel leaned to one side, steering with her tail like a rudder. "Push left," she called, and Berry Badger shifted his weight quickly. The logs scraped past a sharp rock, the current pulling them forward faster toward unknown dangers ahead. From behind a cluster of reeds, Slyther Snake's head rose above the churning water. His eyes gleamed coldly as he glided closer. "Looks like you need a little help," he hissed, his voice smooth but filled with mischief. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel narrowed his eyes at the snake's sly grin. "We're fine," he said firmly, gripping the log tighter. Milo Mouse whispered softly to Sparky that Slyther Snake didn't sound friendly at all, and they should be ready. Slyther Snake circled the log slowly, flicking his forked tongue toward them. Winnie Weasel kept her gaze fixed on him, refusing to show fear. Berry Badger braced himself, his strong paws ready to block any sudden strike or push. The current pushed them toward a tangled cluster of branches ahead. "We have to dodge!" cried Milo Mouse, pointing urgently. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel kicked at the water with all his strength, helping push the log sideways, away from danger. Slyther Snake darted forward, trying to bump the log with his body. Winnie Weasel swung her tail sharply, turning them just in time. Berry Badger splashed hard with his paw, making waves that slowed the snake's advance. The log spun faster now, sliding between the branches with a loud scrape. Milo Mouse laughed nervously, relieved they missed the worst. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel kept his sharp eyes on the twisting river ahead, ready for the next challenge. Slyther Snake wasn't giving up, gliding alongside with scales glistening in the dim light. "You can't steer forever," he said with a sly smile. Winnie Weasel replied firmly, "We'll see about that." Her tail flicked, keeping the log moving steadily. Berry Badger spotted a narrow gap between two giant rocks up ahead. "That's our path," he shouted over the rushing water. Milo Mouse nodded quickly, gripping the log's edge as they prepared to aim for the opening. They paddled hard with paws and tails, guiding the log toward the rocky gap. Slyther Snake lunged again, but Sparky the Spunky Squirrel splashed water into his eyes. The snake hissed angrily, slowing just enough for them to gain ground. The log shot through the gap, spinning wildly in the fast current. Winnie Weasel steadied them with quick tail movements, keeping balance. Berry Badger grinned, sensing they were ahead of Slyther Snake now and gaining distance. Behind them, Slyther Snake hissed in frustration as they pulled away. Milo Mouse breathed easier, feeling the current calm slightly. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel pointed ahead and said, "Let's aim for that sandy shore." Hope sparked among them. A strong wave shoved them toward a cluster of jagged rocks. Berry Badger leaned left, shifting his weight carefully. Winnie Weasel called for everyone to paddle harder. The log scraped the edge, but kept moving forward toward safety. Slyther Snake tried to catch up, weaving through the water with determination. Yet the calmer stretch slowed him down. Milo Mouse whispered, "He's losing speed." Sparky the Spunky Squirrel grinned, seeing their lead grow with each moment. The sandy shore grew closer, glowing warmly in the afternoon light. Winnie Weasel urged them to keep paddling, her voice strong. Berry Badger's muscles ached from the effort, but he refused to stop until they reached land. A sudden whirlpool formed ahead, swirling the water into a spinning trap. Milo Mouse shouted in alarm as the log tilted. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel kicked hard against the twisting flow, fighting to break them free. Winnie Weasel directed everyone to lean right, then left in quick rhythm. Slowly, the log slipped free from the whirlpool's pull. Berry Badger roared in triumph, proud they had beaten another dangerous obstacle together. Slyther Snake turned away, disappearing silently into the tall reeds at the river's edge. Milo Mouse sighed with deep relief. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel said happily, "We did it together." Their fear began to fade. The log bumped gently against the sandy shore, ending their ride. Winnie Weasel hopped off first, pulling the others to safety with firm grips. Berry Badger helped Milo Mouse step onto the solid ground without slipping. They stood together, dripping wet but smiling at their escape. The oak tree was far behind them now, just a memory. Sparky the Spunky Squirrel laughed and said, "What a picnic," despite the wild turn of events. Winnie Weasel looked at her friends proudly and said, "Courage and quick thinking saved us." Milo Mouse nodded in agreement. Berry Badger added, and teamwork made it possible. They walked home together, proud of their thrilling adventure.